All right, next up is more error handling. If you can't tell, if you are brand new to programming, there are going to be a lot of errors in your future. So let's figure out how to solve them. So I looked ahead in the Sibelius. I was trying to say Sibelius because that's a composition program that I use. Um, and somehow it got combined with syllabus. Anyway, so basically we're going to be learning how to construct an error, throwing something, the try catch statement, handling with try catch, and other stuff. Again, I think the last two are absolutely dumb. You shouldn't use them. You should use the okay and error results instead. And once we get into TypeScript, you will really see what's going on there and like the value that it provides. So let's keep going. Runtime errors. We have already learned all of this crap. This is all review. I really hope you know this is review. Reference error. When a variable or function cannot be found, type... Yep, we already know this. Oh, come on. Call the throw error below. All right. Great. You're running a function. Oh my god. You learned absolutely nothing, and that this entire page was completely useless. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Well done. Very well done. Now let's learn how to create an error. Why didn't we do this in the first place? All right, so sometimes you want to throw errors intentionally. Say, I don't know, you have a function that is meant to take in a string, and you just want to make sure that at runtime, no matter what, it will use a string. And so it's going to go through all the checks. You're going to make sure that it's not an object, not a number, not null, not undefined, just all the types that it potentially could be, and making sure that it isn't any of those and it actually is a string, and throwing an error if it's literally anything else. So let's see if there's a thing like that. Main console.log prints an error. Okay, so you can say, I'll do that in a second. So console.log user missing name. Okay. And yeah, it'll still run, but it won't throw an... Did you log the error object? Oh, you want to say new error. Yeah. So it'll still run, it'll give you your call stack and all of that crap. But we want to actually throw an error. So the reason we would throw an error, and it's called throwing an error, is like the state coming into your function or whatever isn't valid. So a specific instance would be like const use string, and you expect a string, but JavaScript is stupid and will allow literally anything to pass into it. So let's just make sure that it's not a like it actually a string. So if string equals null, or object type of string not equals string, throw new error. String is not of type string. That's really all you would need. And so we've created an error using the constructor. And this throw is a keyword reserved by JavaScript just for errors. If you try to throw some sort of object that isn't an error, it'll throw an error. Because it'll be like, this isn't an error, why am I throwing this? And it'll throw an error about throwing an error. It's kind of funny. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I've never been able to throw anything that is not an error. But anyway, so it'll literally stop the program at that case. So let's actually run this code or use it. Use throw new error. Username or password does not match. I'm pretty sure I'm right with what I said earlier. I'm just going to double check. What happens if I just throw that? Yeah. Wait, you can? You can throw something that, like, what if I just throw 5? JavaScript. Throw non-error objects. Huh. I guess it won't. I mean, it'll throw an error anyway, but it won't be like, hey, this is expected to be an error. I guess I was wrong. I stand corrected. Oh, it's TypeScript that doesn't like you to throw a non-error. That was the issue. The thing was like, hey, this isn't a type error. It won't throw this, even though it technically will. Welcome to JavaScript. It sucks. So we've already learned about the try catch statement. We know what it is. Great. Let's. Oh my gosh. Try catch error. Oh, we want an E. Run. Inside of there, throw an error. Throw new error. Test error. And inside the catch, console.log E. Great. Which you can also use error, which is quite useful because it will color your code, which is quite useful. But I feel like that was stupid. There's no reason for that. Handling with try catch. We've already done this. And why are you teaching us the for each? I've already demonstrated that it is objectively the worst way to loop through an array. Oh my gosh, Codecademy, guys, seriously. Stop teaching bad practices. All right. In the main JS, there's a cap all elements. Put the existing array dot for. Ugh. Oh my gosh. Try catch error. Log console.log error. And then I'm just going to take this and put it inside of here. And I know formatting isn't great right now, but this sucks. This just sucks. And also, this is bad practice for a couple reasons. One, I really don't like. So in functional programming, like changing the state of something is not good. And two, you already have an array thing there. It's literally the same thing. Three, your for each shouldn't be like, don't use that. Four, if you're going to augment something, you should return it, or at least create something new and then return that. But now this function will always return undefined and then log the error if there is a state change. So how do you know at runtime that there is a change in state? I like this makes me feel very uncomfortable because it is just it's just bad code. So if I were to do this correctly, I would say const new r equals that. Okay, and then for const item in r, new r. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do for const or let I equals 0, I is less than r dot length, I plus plus, new r, I equals r dot I dot to uppercase. Okay, and then I'm going to return new r. Or even better, I could do return r dot split dot map dot join, and then or I'll do char dot to uppercase. Okay, and then r dot for each is not a function. Yeah. So now this will not augment the state of this thing. This will always be, I mean, this is accepting a string. This is assuming it's a string. So now that's assuming it's an array. Okay, so now this again is not augmenting the array. I didn't realize that it was expecting an array. And then if array dot is array, and I'm gonna do not array dot is array r throw new error, not an array. So now this is a safer function than the other one, and I'm just gonna copy and control Z a bunch until I get to the previous one. There we go. Then do some formatting. All right. This is a safer function because it doesn't augment the original array. I hate augmenting code. I think that's a terrible way to do it. So, and also, it won't return undefined. It'll always return something or throw an error, which is what the like new error thing is. So if I return attempt, which utilizing the code that I wrote a while ago, utilizing this code, where an attempt will return an OK with the value of the function that you pass in, or an error, which this code is available for you. It's in the comments of one of my, and I could probably put in the comment of this one. It'll return the OK and an error, and you have to explicitly handle that. So if I return an attempt and that, now this will always return either OK or error. Always, regardless. And so then if I say cap all elements and I pass in something, I have to say const res equals that if res.is okay, console.log res.value, else console.log res.error. This is just better. And I know I have talked about this multiple times, but this is how errors should be handled, and you should implement this on all of your code. It is implemented on all of my code, and it makes it so much nicer to work with, because I just expected a result to come back instead of something that could potentially throw an error. Okay? And I have to explicitly handle it. Error handling review. Okay, you have try catch. You throw an error, yeah. Test with different data types. Okay, that doesn't really matter. So, this code is better, and I'm just gonna copy and paste it. I'm gonna get rid of the module.exports. So, const, let's do a test function. Const use string, and we're gonna pass in a string. Okay, and I'm gonna use this attempt function right here. So I'm gonna return attempt. I'm gonna attempt to do something, okay? And if type of string is not equal to string, throw new error, type of string is not string, received type, and it's good to actually pass that in, type of string, so that like at runtime you have good logical errors. Okay, and then I don't know, return, actually I'll just capitalize all words. Okay, return string dot split dot map word word 0. Actually, I'm gonna do w0 equals w0 dot to uppercase, return w dot join, like that. And I'm gonna split it by a space instead of that. Okay, so now console.log capitalize all words. Let's just double check that this works. Test that this works. So let's run it. This will return an OK, and this doesn't actually capitalize. Split string, word 0, return w, What? Really? Okay. Well, what is my problem here? Word 0 equals word. There we go. Let's do that. Word equals that. Word. Now let's run it. There we go. Test that this works. Great. So if I pass in anything else like 5, this will return an error with that. Okay. And it may be useful to return error.message instead of just the error. And so you can see that this is the expected type string, not that. So maybe I could change that. Error expect that. Error.message. Okay. And then you can do a couple things. So you can do dot is okay, and this will be false. Is error, and this will be true. And you can handle that in types. So if that is an error, you can do something else. If it is okay, you then can just pull the value. Okay, so however, you could do an unwrap or an expect statement. So I'm going to unwrap this. Which what this does is it takes whatever the value is and returns it. Or if it's an error, it throws the error. Okay, so in this instance, it'll actually throw an error. Okay. However, actually, I shouldn't do that as a message. That was not a good call. So now this will actually throw the error. Okay. And you could make this new type error. I'm pretty sure that'll work. Yeah. So you can change the actual type error. Okay. And then, so you have capitalize all words to unwrap. So if I do actually pass in an actual value, test that this works, whatever, it'll actually return the value. So this unwrap statement or unwrap method, it exists in both. It'll throw the error if it's an error, or it'll return the value if it's an okay, which the whole point of that is if you're inside of another attempt, inside of another one of these attempt functions, it's safe for you to unwrap because it'll just pass the error along to the next attempt. So if you have a bunch of nested attempts, which if you riddle your entire code with these result type, this attempt things, it becomes very safe for you to just unwrap the statement and not break your code. Which this is just how I write. Excuse me. So at the top level, I just handle an error, instead of throwing the error and stopping my code from running. Okay, so this is just generally a really safe way to deal with it, instead of this try catch thing, which is super explicit, and you have to create scopes and crap like that. This I really like, albeit I don't like the anonymous functions. It adds a little bit to the call stack, and it's kind of annoying in that regard, but doesn't really matter. So, yay, error handling review.